Okay, so solve question 1, Algebra H. Make sure you've tried the questions before you actually look at the tutorial. So, we're going to expand the bracket. 3 times 4 gives you 12w. 4 times 7 gives you minus 28 equals 32. Put your line down, bring your minus 28 across, which becomes plus 28. 12w is going to be equal to 60. In which case then bring your 12 across, divide 12 to give you w is equal to 5. Okay, again we need to rearrange, put your line down. 5 comes across as divide, on this side comes across as multiply. So we're going to have 26 minus y is equal to 20. Okay, bring your 26 across, becomes minus 26. So you're going to have minus y is equal to minus 26. So the two minuses cancel one another out. Sorry, not minus 26, minus 6. So your two minuses cancel one another out. Y has got to be equal to 6. Okay, part C. Work out the smallest integer value. Integer, remember, is a whole number. Put your line down, treat it like an equal sign, and rearrange. So becomes minus 1. 4t, got to be greater than 24. T, bring your 4 across, becomes divide. 24 divided by 4 gives you 6. So if we want the smallest integer value that t could be, and it has to be greater than 6, t could be 7. Okay, question 2. We want to look at factorising this. It has a number in front of our n squared, so it's going to be ACB. 4 times 3 gives you 12, so we're looking to find the factor pairs of 12. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. We need to find ones that are going to add together to give us 8, 2 and 6. So we're going to go 4n squared plus 2n plus 6n plus 3. Okay, deal with the front first of all, factorise it. So find what's common to both the terms in the front. 2n can come outside with 2n inside the brackets plus 1. When you know it's 2n plus 1 here, you know for a fact it's going to be exactly the same at the far side. What do we have to multiply 2 by to get back to 6 plus 3? Then bring your two brackets back together, 2n plus 3 upon 2n plus 1. Okay, question 3 is a completing the square question. Alright, now you've got an identity sign in there, which means manipulate with one side of your equation, and I would take this side to manipulate. So x minus 5 squared plus a, so x minus 5. Remember, squaring something doesn't mean square each term, it means the same bracket multiplied by itself. So split our first bracket, x minus 5, set your second bracket in twice. Okay, x times x gives you x squared, x times minus 5 gives you minus 5x, minus 5 times x gives you minus 5x again. Be careful with the two negatives, minus 5 times minus 5 gives you plus 25. Okay, gather your like terms then in the middle. X squared minus 10x plus 25. Okay, now we have got to then add something on to get it back to what we have. So we know we've already got our a value. Okay, we know that a is going to be minus 10. Okay, now if a is minus 10, they're looking us to add it on here. So they're looking us to do, just move that out of the way. We know a is minus 10. We're looking to do x squared minus 10x plus 25. We've just worked out that a is minus 10. So you've got to subtract off 10. So it's going to be x squared minus 10x plus 15. So your b value here at the end must be 15. So b is equal to 15. Not minus 15, just 15. Okay? Question 4. Given that, work out the value of y when x is equal to minus 1. So you're doing a simple substitution question here. Now x is minus 1, so we're going to start by writing out the equation first of all. So x is minus 1 is equal to 1 minus 2y, all divided by y minus 6. Bring your bottom line across, which is going to become multiply. So you're going to have minus 1 multiplied by y minus 6 is equal to 1 minus 2y. and then expand your bracket. That's going to give us minus y plus 6 is equal to 1 minus 2y. I'm going to rewrite it up here. So minus y plus 6 is equal to 1 minus 2y. Put your line down. Now remember we said when you've got letters on both sides of the equation, you move the smaller letter value first. So your minus 2y is smaller than minus 1. Bring it across, it becomes plus 2y. Minus 1 add 2 gives you 1y. Plus 6 is equal to 1. Y, if we bring our plus 6 across, it becomes minus 6. So we're going to have y is equal to minus 5. Okay. Question 5. Simplify fully. Now, to simplify fully, you need to gather your like terms. So, 5, is there any number over here? There's no number, so it's just going to stay as 5. M to the power of 6 multiplied by m to the power of 3, you add your two powers. So that's going to give you m to the power of 9. Add the powers here when you're multiplying, so it's going to give us t to the power of 7. Okay, part B. Tricky question. Make y the subject of the formula. Now, you've got a divide on the bottom. So the first thing I would do is move that divide up as multiply. So it's going to become x multiplied by y minus 6 is equal to 1 minus 2y. Multiply this bracket out. xy minus 6x is equal to 1 minus 2y. Now, you need to then gather all of your x values, all of your y values to one side, all of your x values to the other side. Now, we're looking to make y the subject, so we want to gather all our y's to one side. Anything that doesn't have a y, push it to the other side. So minus 2 is going to come across as plus 2y. The minus 6 is going to come across as plus 6x. Okay, we're now at the stage where we could factorise this. So y could come outside the brackets upon x plus 2. And then if I move my x plus 2 across, it becomes divide by, so we're left with y is equal to 1 plus 6x, all divided by my bracket from over here, x plus 2. Okay, substitution again. First thing I would do is rewrite the equation. U plus AT. My u value is 3. My a value is minus 10. Be careful of that one because it's a minus. And my t value is 7. 3 plus and a minus become minus. 10 times 7 is 70, so your answer is going to be minus 67. Work out the value again. Substitution, so write out the formula. Okay, this time we've been given different values. V is equal to 7.3. U is equal to 5.1 plus 5a. Okay, rearrange then. Bring your 5.1 across, becomes minus 5.1. 7.3 then, take away 5.1 gives you 2.2 is equal to 5a. You want to get a on its own, so move the 5 across, which becomes divide by 5. 2.2 divided by 5 gives us a. A works out to be 0.44. Okay, question 6 then. Expand. Multiply the bracket. So 6 times 3 gives you 18x. 6 times 2 gives you 12, and it's going to be a minus 12. Now, part B is a common question that has been coming up in the papers quite a bit recently. So be careful of this double negative here, and it seems to have a double negative in the exams. 4 times 2x will give you 8x. 4 times 1 will give you plus 4. Minus times x, or minus 3 times x will give you minus 3x. 2 minuses make a plus. 3 times 4 is 12. So be careful of that double negative at the end. Gather your like terms. 8x minus 3x gives you 5x. Plus 4 plus 12 is going to be plus 16. Okay, question 7 then. Solve the equation. Now, put your line down the middle. Okay. Move your smaller x value first when you've got letters on both sides. So 2x comes across as minus 2x. So you've got 4x minus 1 is equal to 4. Your minus 1 then moves across as plus 1. So 4x is equal to 5. And lastly then, move your 4 across, which becomes divide. So it's 5 over 4. Now if this was non-calculator, you could do this, everybody, as easily as you would if you didn't have a calculator. Or if you did have a calculator. 5 divided by 4. Well, 4 will go into 5 once. with 1 left over, 1 1/4. If you have a calculator, your answer is going to be 1.25. Okay, solve the equation now. First thing that we need to point out is that we've got fractions. We do not like fractions, so get rid of them. Okay, so bring that 2, so essentially what we're going to do here is cross multiply. Bring the 2 up, bring the 3 up. So we're going to be left with 2 upon 2y minus 5 is equal to 3 upon 4y minus 1. Okay, expand your brackets then. 4y minus 10 is equal to 12y minus 3. Now remember, when we've got y's or letters on both sides, move your smaller letter value first. So we're going to move our 4y across, which becomes minus 4y. Minus 10 is equal to 8y minus 3. When we bring our minus 3 across, it's going to become plus 3. So minus 7 is equal to 8y. Last thing we need to do is bring our 8 across and divide by 8. So your answer could be minus 7 over 8, or if you've got a calculator, minus 0.875. Okay, question 8. On the grid, draw the lines to find the region satisfied by the 3 inequalities. Now, first question. Y has got to be greater than 1. So you take your finger or your ruler or whatever it is you want to use and find the y-axis. This is your y-axis. It's labelled. Go to where y is 1. That's where you want to have a line going through y is equal to 1. Okay. Now, we could draw a solid line here because it was your equal sign in the question. If it wasn't a solid line, you would do a dashed line. Then we need to locate which area we want. It says y has got to be greater than 1. So we want greater than that line. So you've got to decide, do we want above the line or below the line? We want above, so the part we don't want, we shade. And that's y is greater than or equal to 1. Next equation. Now, you need to find your coordinate points. So we use the wee table. I've written those the wrong way around. X first, then y. Okay? Always use the same values, not 1 and 2. So, when x is 0, 0 plus 1, y is going to be 1. When x is 1, 1 plus 1 is going to be 2. And when x is 2, it's going to be 3. So those are the 3 coordinate points then that you have to plot this next line. 0, 1, 1, 2, and 2, 3. So you've now got your points to go and plot the line. Okay, and extend it right through the graph. Then you've got to decide, do we want above that line or below that line? We've got to be less than that line, so we want below it, so we don't want the upper part of the graph. Okay, last one that we need to look at then, we need to do the same thing. We need to get ourselves a table drawn out in order to work out our coordinates. Pick 0, 1 and 2. Right, if x is 0, 0 plus what gives us 5? 5. If x is 1, 1 plus what gives us 5? 4. And lastly, 2 plus what gives us 5? 3. Those are your 3 coordinate points then that you want to plot. So go and plot them. 0, 5, 1, 4, and 2, 3. And again, use your ruler then to draw in the line. All of these could be solid lines because they had the equal to sign in them. Okay, you have to decide then, do you want above the line or below the line? It's got to be less than, so we want less than the line, so shade the part that we don't want. And in there is the region that we're looking.